But surprisingly, because of all the PPEs and the protocols, dental offices were one of the least risky places to be.
Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Daniel Nguyen, the host of the Local Domination Show here. And today I have Dr. Mike Jin. He's a local here in Southern California in Pasadena. And he started his journey in, dental school, worked for various dental practices to learn what's working well and what he likes to do, and then eventually opened his own private practice. So I'm really excited to have him on the show today to share with us what's going well and what are the challenges he faced and how did he overcome them. So, Dr. Mike, can you introduce yourself and share with us who you are and how'd you get started in this business?
It's nice being here, first of all. Thank you for inviting me. I always kind of wanted to be a dentist ever since I got a part-time job as a dental assistant when I was in high school. So I kind of got to see how the doctors worked, what the schedule was like. I'm an immigrant from China. I was born in Inner Mongolian region of China. Moved here with my parents when I was 9 years old, and been living in LA ever since. I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley area, Arcadia, Pasadena area specifically. Went to college in Irvine and then went to UCLA for dental school. And after I graduated, I just worked in as many places as I could have, like 16 practices, I think, where I got to learn everything. I've worked in offices that took HMO insurance, Dentical, high volume, corporate offices, and also worked in Beverly Hills, where some of the best cosmetic offices are located. And I got to see basically the full spectrum of how everybody ran their business, because that was the only one thing that I never was taught, was how to run a business, how to manage people. And those experiences were my training, my business training, before I was able to craft like a vision of exactly what I want for my office. And it kind of made everything a little bit easier that way.
I love that, when I speak to like other business owners, and it sounds like all of us typically start our career, get our education, and then went to work for another business owners and learning from them, learning how they solve problems, how they deal with employees, with hiring, and how they deal with clients. So when you're in your journey working from different offices, what is the biggest takeaway that you like learned and really wrote down on a piece of paper and says, when I'll have my own practice one day, these are the things I will do?
I think the most important thing for me was customer service, not from a dentist perspective, but from an entire business perspective. Because nobody in the office has gotten any type of training like that. And what I learned the most, actually listened to a lot of podcasts and really paid attention to like restaurants and hospitality and hotels and how they treated their clients and how they crafted the whole experience from start to finish. And not just me as a dentist being nice to people. Like, how is the experience online? How is the user interface? How easy was it for them to schedule an appointment and take care of all the forms and insurances and all that, and still present it in a way that's service facing? I think that's honestly probably the most important thing that I still focus on, which is how do I deliver like a luxurious, patient comfort focused service for my patients at all times.
Yeah, I think that's like super, super important. When if you go to I don't know, like a Hilton or a Marriott or like a fine dining restaurant, the level of service is insanely good, from
Right.
the front desk, the host, the manager, they touch you on the table, the server, the busser, every single person who interact with you at the time you're, dining, gives you an amazing experience.
Right.
So like, I love that you integrate the customer service into a dental office, because I don't hear this often. I speak with a lot of dentists here and then, but very few mention like, yeah, the number one most important thing is customer service, and we have to provide the best in town, right? So when you're opening your practice, what is like the most challenging thing that you encounter, and how did you solve it?
I have the perfect answer for you. So I opened towards the end of 2019. So I would say the biggest challenge for us was to survive a pandemic after 6 months of opening. So that was the biggest problem to solve, which is I didn't have that many patients to start with because we started from scratch and then have to shut down for 2 months immediately after. um,
So that's, well, that sucks, but what did you do?
I always saw it as an advantage, actually, even though wasn't the best situation for any business owner. But we designed the office. I designed my office with private rooms, and it wasn't an open concept. And because we were new and each treatment room was private, and we focused on full digital, like touchless documentation, streamlining appointment making procedures, it all actually worked in our favor because a lot of patients became very, very hypercritical of where they were going and how clean and how isolated they could be once they're in the office. Because at the time, everybody always thought we were at the highest risk, and everybody thought like because of working in the mouth, everybody would get COVID. But surprisingly, because of all the PPEs and the protocols, dental offices were one of the least risky places to be. And we had all the protocols that a hospital would have, but we weren't seeing that many patients. We were seeing like one or two at the most in their own private rooms. And it made patients feel really comfortable. And a lot of dentists stopped working in the time. So we kind of got everybody who became hyper aware of their surroundings and where they can go. And we actually started growing every month ever since we opened back up.
I was on your website and I really like how streamlined and how easy it was to see your phone number, to book a consultation for a new client onboarding, fill out form. And also you have a video chat consultation. That's really cool. Did you do that during COVID time? Is that what you built?
Yes, that's something that we kind of implemented as well. Just if people can come in, we would just record videos and then kind of have Zoom meetings just like this where we could just talk about expectations. I also have a lot of patients coming in from out of state as well. So sometimes we can't really see each other in person, but having virtual consultations and meetings, great because we get to talk about everything else, manage the expectations. And sometimes they'll fly in from out of state to get treatment done. And by then we can have everything figured out and have it ready to go.
That's great. So after the 2020 COVID,
Right.
up until now, how fast have you grown? And, what are the best, I would say, method you use to kind of take you from COVID time, 1, 2 patients a week to now?
We've been growing. Fortunately, we've been growing. We've been doubling in size every single year since we opened. Right now, we're on track of collecting 1.5 million from zero from 3 years ago. And the best, and we do very little marketing actually. It's mostly organic internal referral from patients. And then we try to be present on social media as well. Just a lot of posts on what we're doing, our cases, how we run our business, what our core philosophies are, and just consistently putting those things out there. But I think most of the thing is just consistency and then our hyper focus on luxury personal service for everybody who comes in.
That's amazing. Like coming from COVID and doing 1.5. What is your, I guess, biggest lesson that you learned in that 2 years journey that you can share with us?
Biggest lesson is to be adaptable and to be willing to make change instantly, because that was what we had to deal with constantly. Oh, we have to shut down for 2 months. Let's figure out how we can get through this. And then like half of my staff would be gone in the morning of, or half of my patients would be gone the morning of. And the biggest lesson I had to learn was that a lot of things are out of my control, and I had to deal with how to manage the stress that would come with it, but at the same time, staying flexible and staying adaptable so then I can make changes to anticipate those things that you can't really control, right? Like being willing to completely change out how we see patients with virtual consults. being willing to completely make different types of investments and adaptations in order to survive, being able to make changes and focusing on social media when not a lot of people were. So those things, I think that's been my biggest lesson, which is tomorrow I might show up and everything will be different, and I got to figure it out instead of wasting time kind of stressing out about those things.
Yeah, I really agree with like adaptations because I wasn't like doing Instagram lately, but lately I have been doing Instagram Reels. It's great. Actually, a lot of people reach out to us and being very present on social media, like you said, and also like willing to learn and adapt new things that we're not comfortable with.
Right.
So do you also experience a hiring issue with your practice, and how did you kind of recruit people?
Absolutely. For the past 3 years, it was just nothing. Like we'll have a couple of people coming in for interviews, or we'll schedule a bunch of interviews and nobody shows up. You can't tell. There's no way. Like sometimes you would think everything goes well, and then the next week they just don't even show up for work and you can't even contact them anymore. But what I always focus on is creating a really good work culture. My entire staff, we have a very open discussion policy. That means everybody is always welcome to say whatever's on their mind, no matter what it is. And then we all have discussions and we all work through problems together. There's no hierarchy in my office. Everybody knows that they're able to come to me and talk about pretty much anything, and then we'll be able to solve it together. I'm not above doing anything to help them either. Like if a toilet needs to be scrubbed, I will glove up and do it. If a room needs to be cleaned up because we're short staffed, I'm right there with them. So that's kind of the overall culture, which is everybody helps each other. There's no front versus back, assistants versus receptionists and things like that. Everybody always pitches in, and just knowing that everyone is always supported by their employer, by their peers, I think that's the best you can do to make sure that it's actually like an enjoyable place to show up to work.
Yeah, I have to learn, like I have the same problem. I couldn't hire people, and if they do come in, they would quit in like a day or like a week, and they wouldn't let us any notice. They would just send me a text.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not
Or
coming back.
even, right?
Or,
Even if
or, or
there's,
sometimes they ghost us, right?
yeah,
Yeah, like we have to learn how to like be a leader, build culture. And then I bought some books about culture, leaderships, and how to build a following, not in like just customer base, but like your own employee base, right? And I gotta say, man, like mad respects to you that if there's something broken in the office, you just glove up and you just fix it. You
yeah.
know, like I think your employees will really, really appreciate and they really respect you for doing that. Sure, we can wait, I don't know, 2 days for a handyman to come fix it, but like it's out of service. Let's just fix it now. It is immediate problem, right? And I can totally relate to that because there are times at my salon and the lady who cleans the office are sick and everybody left. And then, she left us a last notice. Hey, I can't come in today. And then, I was okay, shoot, there's somebody left. I guess I'm off the floor. I just start cleaning my whole office. Two
Right.
hours just cleaning the office. I was like, actually, this is not bad. I noticed a few things need to be moved, you know?
Mhm.
So it really cool to see you also do that. Now, as we're coming to the end of the interview, what is your least favorite part when it comes to marketing your company and growing your practice?
I struggle with, like, especially with marketing and like growing the practice. I struggle with the fact that it's very abstract because you don't like, my job is instant gratification. I do a treatment, I see the results, right? Like I work and I know what the results will be every single day. I measure everything. I know how it's going to turn out. With marketing, it's different. Marketing, you will put in all this money, you put in all this effort, and you don't immediately get anything back. And you might not get anything back for years, but it's the consistency of it. And so for when I'm working on those things, I don't know if I'm doing anything right. I don't even know if I'm going to get it back. And that's very frustrating.
I love how transparent you are. That's exactly what marketing is. You never know what the ROI from which channel and if it's accurate or not. To say, running Facebook ad doesn't work. Well, it's not fair because it's not a immediate ROI from Facebook, but they might search for you on Google and become a client through a Google channel. So like you can't really pin down what's working. But
Right.
you have to do something. And I think having omnipresence, like, make sure your Google profile is good, have a lot of reviews, a lot of pictures, and a lot of positive 5-star rating
Right.
helps a lot. Optimize your SEO, where you have to do that, your website, your SEO, and then maybe run a little Facebook ad so that you're getting a brand awareness. People, I think I just did my SEO audit for my salon like last week.
Mm.
Just, every month I do it. I compare the metrics on Google and Facebook, and I was blown away that my Facebook ad cost is like we're breaking even. We're not making any money on Facebook. A third of my search insights are direct search. People putting in my business name on Google. Well, that's just interesting because I'm a new business owner I just opened a nail salon in Redlands like 5 months ago. So it's a new business. So
Yeah.
nobody really know me in town. But
Right.
yeah, a third of my search volume, which is 8,000 search per month, 3,000 people legit put my name in the search engine.
Right.
So
Right.
I guess it works, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
so
coming from somewhere.
yeah, so don't turn it up, don't mess it up, like just leave it alone. But yeah, to add to what you're saying, like there are successful businesses that I interview here on the show, and every single one of them understand pay advertising very well, lead generations, conversion rate, right? How many people show up to the intro,
Right.
and then how much money they made from that. And as long as
Right.
it's like kind of profitable and you're not losing money, keep doing it. Now, thank you for sharing that. That was very fun. And I think everybody here listening who are
Yeah.
running pay advertising, we all could agree, like, yeah, it's like his a minute. I don't know. As we're, coming towards the end now, I really want to pick your brain on something. You mentioned podcasts, and so can you recommend, like, what are your top 3 podcasts that you listen to like religiously?
I think the biggest one I listen to a lot is Tim Ferriss. And then the second one I listen to is Joe Rogan. I like podcasts that they talk to different people from different places. Just because you don't know where you can find something that's super, super, super useful. Like one of the best podcasts I listened to was from Tim Ferriss. He interviewed Nick Kokonas, which is one of the restaurant financiers for one of the best restaurants in the world. And there were so many things that I learned from customer service and hospitality from that one podcast. I reposted it on my Instagram, and he actually responded and said, thank you. And I was like a huge like fanboy moment for me. But that was amazing. But even just learning those little things is crucial. So I always kind of listen to different things where there's a lot of diverse people.
I think like sometime we gotta listen. I call it the out of the box, like out of what we
Right.
normally would listen to. Like I'll have like a marketing channel, the guy that I listen to for marketing, and then I listen to Joe Rogan, right? I also listen to Joe Rogan. It's hilarious. Like I'll be at 2 o'clock in the morning looking up dinosaurs. because he interviewed somebody about dinosaur, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, I gotta look at this thing up. It's hilarious, right? And my wife said, what the heck are you doing? Like dinosaurs. And then another day I'll look it up, aliens, and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Right.
Alien universe, right?
Right.
It's just so hilarious, right? Just so random outside of the normal business day-to-day connectivity. So thank you for coming on to our show today, Dr. Mike. And it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. I love this. This was awesome.
Well, to our listener, thank you, everybody. See you next time.